So my color grading system for Photoshop called ColorLogic has really expanded over the last few months, and the feedback has been huge. People are telling me how useful it is and how creative it is and how like almost infinitely flexible it is. So I want to kind of go over it again and kind of review a little bit about how much it's expanded. For example, all of these actions here, and as a reminder, if you're not in button mode, which is the top right little fly out menu on the actions window, go to button mode. It makes everything faster, and you can see things at a glance. Now, all of these silver ones, or rather most of them, these gray buttons, are finalizing actions of some form. And we're going to get into that in 1 minute. And that really, really helps get your color looks feeling, well, final, right? We'll get to that in a second. And then below that, for those who don't know, we have these relatively color-coded grades, right? We have the reds and oranges, and it goes down in the rainbow, of course. And then these 10 glam ones, which do kind of different warming kind of things in terms of glam. And then we have these expansion packs, right? So we have the acidity one and the ember one, and there's just so much. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. We have so many different color grades. Now, the first thing, well, not the first thing, I guess, but one of the things I hear is there's so many actions. How do I organize it? How do I know which ones to use? Well, organizing is an interesting one because there is a lot. I understand that. And with actions, you don't get to like, create a UI, right? A user interface like in a panel. However, this allows for extreme flexibility. A panel's locked in. You get what you get. Whereas here we have all these actions that just flow. When you purchase ColorLogic, you get everything that you see here. And as we, make more color grade packs, I distribute them out to customers as well. And so you're going to have a lot. If you decide, for example, all these acidity ones you're not liking, just don't use them. Delete them, right? Delete the ones you never use. Every time you tap on NBP won't know, maybe you hate it. You just do not like it. Delete that one. You can customize stuff in your little button mode palette very, very easily, all things considered. Like I said, you have that flexibility. Never mind the flexibility of turning off button mode, going into the actions directly, and making changes if you wanted to, if you have that sort of experience with actions, right? This is the extreme flexibility and customization, and we haven't even shown you the demo yet. So let me see what I'm talking about. Let's say I have a shot. I've edited it. I've got the background clean. I've got the skin work basically where I want it. And I think, let me explore some color, right? So we have, of course, the rainbow options. These are just a basic idea of the color they're based on. I'm not guaranteeing that every single one of these will get you that color, but it's a basic idea of the color it's based on. So for example, if I chose NBP Ignite, it's in the red, so I tap that and I get a look. And will that look be exactly what you want? I don't know. But what's cool is you tap and there's a folder there. We'll open that in a minute. However, you can keep tapping. So let's go to NBP Studio. And that stacks Studio on top of that. Maybe that wasn't anything interesting. Delete it. Let's go to Horizon. Okay, let's see what Horizon does. Okay, it changes the feel overall. We can delete both and go to Element, and then we can go to Title. I don't know. This is just literally just exploring to see. And this is what I do quite frequently. I'll click on, let's say, Electric. That's really strong. And then maybe I'll go to Stereo, which I know is going to be strong. And now I have these really strong looks. First line of defense, obviously, opacity. So I can go 50% maybe on the first one, maybe 60% on the second one, and I've developed a look, right? So I went from this to this, and this is like some kind of a color expression that maybe I wasn't considering. I can leave it like this if I decide it's done. I can change opacities. I can add more. I can add my own custom layers. That is to say, a selective color, or maybe a color balance, or even a hue and saturation, a color and vibrance. There's so many different layers you can add on top of that. But let's say we're going to go back to Electric. We deleted the previous one. Let's say we like this look, but we want to make some changes. Yes, you can add other layers, but every look that ColorLogic affords you is a folder. And inside that folder is going to be a series of layers. And it could be 3 layers, it could be 4, it could be 5, and they all do slightly different things to help you keep exploring color. And we have presets. Let me explain. So on the very first layer, which is sort of where the main color grade happens on these presets, or most of them, we have the base RGB. This is where I've created an RGB curves look that I thought worked pretty cool, right? And decided to save it and use it. Now, by default, it's set to color blend mode to minimize, luminosity shifts, and it's 100% opacity. You can change just that element of the layer stack of that little folder, right? So you can make, for example, that layer 50%, and now you have less of just the base color grade, right? Or 100%, leave it alone. Now, the next one, Luma. This is simply a curves layer set to luminosity blend mode. So you can do different things about contrast. As you can see, it has a bit of a contrast reduction. See that? On and off. that was the look I thought worked well with this. You may not like that. You can just leave it off like I just did. You can change the opacity. You can move the curves around to get whatever look you want. And then on top of that, we have vibrance and saturation. Now in recent months, actually recent weeks, Adobe has changed the vibrance and saturation adjustment layer, and now we have temperature and tint on there. So some of the color grades, the presets that I have here that go back several months don't account for temperature and tint, and that's fine because you can still use it freely to make it more green, to make it more pink, whatever adjustments you want to do, including, of course, the intensity of the saturation or vibrance, right? So that's, you know, sort of a look there. And then on top of that, we have compression. Now, some of these are going to do compression with curves. Some of these are going to do compression with luminosity. In this case, it's a very, very subtle compression. All I'm doing is bringing the output levels up to 5. So it's very subtle, off and on. It just softens the shadows ever so slightly. Doesn't really do anything else, but you can change it more. So if you went up to 15, you can soften those shadows even more. Go up to 25, really soften it, right? And again, you can turn that off if you want. Now, in this case, in terms of electric, we have a gradient map color wash, okay? So let me explain that. This is where we're going to start talking about the presets that come with ColorLogic, and that is to say, the specific tool presets. So if you double click, or you can come over here to this window, it's fine. You see that there's a gradient fill. You tap that, and what also comes with ColorLogic is the ColorLogic grads, the gradients, right? And everything is set up. Let's kind of remind you here. Hold on, I'm going to cancel all this. You see this is set up to soft light, the gradient map, 25% as the default to get started. So if you come in here and go back to either your own gradients or the ones that come with ColorLogic, you can tap and get a different wash on top of it to continue the exploration. Let's say I like that one, right? But I'm going to make it 15. So stacking multiple looks from the bank of looks that we have available can be cool, but using one and then experimenting with the different settings inside it is another way to go. So they see that adds a slightly different wash there. In fact, if it's not obvious, we'll make it really obvious. Here, about 75%, you see what's happening there. But if you do it subtly, like a 20, you get just a slightly different wash of color on top of that. Now, it's not to say that everything in this folder is all you can use. You can add layers either outside the folder or inside the folder. But when you want to stack more, here's what you need to do in Photoshop. Close the folder. That way, Adobe doesn't get confused on how to stack these. So then you can close that folder and then choose, I don't know, Glam 6, and it'll make sure to stack it on top. Very subtle, no big deal. The Glam ones are supposed to be subtle. Okay, yeah, it's too subtle for the look I'm going for. We're not going to use Glam. How about Melancholy? Okay, add a different shaping. See, that didn't just change the color, how it changed the shaping a little bit. I kind of enjoy that. Maybe I'll make it like a 40%, something like that. That's cool. But while you're here, you can also add other layers. So if you go to levels, for example, to add some, you know, contrast in some way or brightness, you can go to luminosity blend mode. You can use curves as well and brighten that up a bit, maybe something like that. There's no real rule exactly how you can do it. Now, let's go back into electric, okay? Because we're going to go back to the base RGB grades. In ColorLogic as well, you get all of these RGB presets that come with it. So for example, if you look for electric, you'll find it. There's electric, right? And you can also change it right now to dynamo and see what that does. Completely different look. How about contour? Okay, you're leaving everything else alone, from the gradient map to the compression, the vibrance, saturation, and the contrast shifting, but you can choose another RGB curve right now. See that? Who knows what you can get going. If you don't like it, okay, go back to electric. That's what the original was for. So you can see you have different branches and directions you can take your grade exploration. Anything. You can stack. You can modify. You can swap out presets of all kinds. There's really is no limit as to how you can continue to explore color. You never know how exciting it could be for you. Let's delete all that a second, because don't forget, with all these presets, you can also hear, let me see, going right here, ColorLogic stack blank. You tap that and you get nothing. Oh, let me close this out. You get nothing. It doesn't do anything. It's just a stack of 5 layers and nothing has been changed, because now you can go to the base RGB, which, you know, if you have your presets installed, then you can start exploring. Okay, how about acidity shedding? Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, okay. Acidity step. Ooh, I kind of like that. Maybe anthem. Oh, I like Anthem. And then you go to luminosity curves. Well, it comes with those too. You don't have necessarily presets for contrast necessarily. They come with a different set, but you do have these node starts, right? So you have the 1 node, 3 node, and 7 node. So if you go to 3 node, you'll see that you have those set up immediately for beautiful contrast changes. So I can reduce contrast like this if I want, something like that. And then I go to vibrance and saturation. That's going to be more manual. You can do whatever you feel you need to do to get the look that you want, right? And then compression, you can change the output levels. Maybe that's a bit much, something like that. And then the gradient color, we talked about that already. You can have your own gradients or the ones that come with ColorLogic, and who knows what direction you can take your grade. And then you can close the folder, and then you can make it 50%, and then you can, that's opacity, I should say. And then maybe you can come down here to one of these presets and choose dull light. I don't know, that's extremely dull. Maybe night market, kind of like that, and then still, right? Who knows? Ooh, that's really muted. Let's change the opacity of that, change the opacity of that. Cool. And you're like, okay, I started with a custom set of layers that I did my own on it just to explore, added some things on top. Nice. Don't like it? Continue on to something else. Ultraviolet, I really like that. Cool. Now let's go to our finalizing actions, right? So we have all these here, right? So for example, we have, let's go vignette, classic finalizer, right? It's going to create a vignette, 25% opacity. You can see how strong it actually is. It's a nice, smooth, beautiful vignette done with a gradient, right? That's a solid option, right? We have the anti-vignette, which is good for kind of compensating for, like a, I don't know, lens fall off, in terms of brightness and whatnot. Or if you really want to explore a white vignette, it's there for you, okay? So those options are available. Classic ones there. But then there's also things like compression extra. That's going to bring in the highs and lows really strong. You see how it changes that look? Off and on. See that? Very, 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 very different. And you have different options for that quickly. Light, medium, heavy. You have crush shadows, so we can crush shadows heavy. And the crush shadows thing can be controversial. Some people think it's overdone. Some people kind of feel like that era has passed. But you know what? Crush shadows sometimes has its use. You can do that. For example, put a compression medium, and then maybe you can do like a highlight pop heavy. You see what we're doing? We're just tapping things and we're getting finalization looks, all of which we can change the opacity on, including the color itself. We can change that if it's too strong, right? Or we can leave it, open it up, go to the base level RGB and change just that and let everything else be the same. Maybe 64%. Cool. And we went from this to this. You see how fast I'm creating all sorts of looks, right? We have the highlight pops. We have the shadow boost. So I can boost the shadows quite a bit if I want. I can pop the highlights quite a bit if I want. All going to be with luminosity control, so you aren't going to shift color too much. So you can add a lot of contrast, and then maybe you can compress the heck out of it, and you have sort of a softer shadows look. This is just finalizing. I don't even have color grade on that, right? Go back to the actual layer itself. Maybe choose lo-fi, maybe choose ping, extremely subtle, and then maybe choose contour, something like that. And 50% there, etc., etc. Look at that. You see how fast I'm making looks? That's the whole point. It's not to choose random things. It's to explore. I mean, it is to choose random things, but it's not to accept random things. It's to explore and see what you find. Like these are kind of strong, okay? These are called Ember. So these might work a little bit better alone as opposed to stacking, but you never know. Oh, did that one again. You can just keep stacking. You can try them by themselves and go, oh, I like the hard one, and I'm going to stack it with a soft one and see what I get. Neat. I kind of like that. And then maybe I'll throw Lucent over it. I don't know. Adds a little bit of that purple, a little strong, maybe 35%, something like that. You see how fast I'm working here, guys. And then I come over here and say soft shadows extra. And let that finish. Sometimes it slows down when it comes to my recording, right? Super soft shadows there. And then shadow boost medium, right? I know it sounds strange. Why would I why would I soften the shadows and then boost them? It just depends on how you want to do it. You can put them on top of each other and change the order, and that's going to create, again, a softer kind of crushed shadows look. And here, on top of everything else, I like where things are going, but I'm not 100% sure, so maybe I'll go to selected color, and I'll come to the blacks, and I'll roll out some yellow, which is going to create a little bit of blue. There you go. Maybe I'm happy with that. Even with talking, even with a computer recording, I am making look after look after look. And what's cool is all of these can be selected like I've just done and drag them over to another image in the same set, and you can replicate the look across your set if that's what you wanted to do. Everything is fluid. Everything is mix and match. You can do just so much. You probably don't need to stack 15 of these. That's probably a bit much, but nonetheless, you can explore and you can tweak every single thing that you stack. That is the beauty of ColorLogic, is getting the color looks that maybe you didn't realize you wanted, and they can inspire you, and then using the finalizer tools to create final looks as well. There's just so many different ways that you can go about leveraging ColorLogic, and I haven't even covered them all. There's even more things that you can do, but I want to go over that again and just remind you one last time, You don't have to use all of these. That's not the case here. That's not the situation. That's not how this is made. It's to have options. You never use the Ember ones? That's fine. They come with the set. Just throw them out if you don't want them. Put them to the side, whatever. Delete the ones you hate if you don't ever use. Contemplate, just throw that one out. Maybe that's too strong for you to hate it every time. Come here to button mode. Turn it off, find it, and quickly delete it. You can customize this any way you want. That's the idea of ColorLogic and the other Logic tool sets that I have, is to give you freedom, convenience, and flexibility and speed, but freedom.